Hello everyone, my name is Hiren Agarwal and I welcome you all to another episode of Chronicles by Bajaj Allianz General Insurance. Today with us, we have your Miss Gisha George, Head of Liability Insurance at Bajaj Allianz General Insurance. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Hiren. It's my pleasure to be here.
Ma'am, so first of all, I would like to start from which part of India do you hail from? Where do you belong from?
Yeah, so it's a not a simple question because I was born in Kerala and then I was brought up in Ahmedabad. So nearly 22 years of my life I spent in Ahmedabad, and thereafter I spent some time in Bangalore, and then I have finally settled in Maharashtra. Incidentally, I'm married to somebody from Bihar. So that tells you that maybe not one region, but yeah. I belong to India, I would put it that way. And each of these cultures and states have really added to who I am today.
Like, this is actually a pattern that I've noticed at Bajaj Allianz here, that in normal conversation also, when I've asked somebody, like, where are you from? They never seem to have a single answer. There are usually, that's the diversity of India. That's what India brings to the table always. That it's always like, I was born here, but brought up here, and now I'm working here. So, how was your journey from, Kerala to Ahmedabad to Pune?
So Kerala was my birthplace because I belong to Malayali family, and but my entire upbringing was in Ahmedabad. So my schooling, college, everything. And incidentally, I was also part of Bajaj. I mean, I was picked up from campus in Ahmedabad. So my initial 1 to 1.5 years I've spent in Ahmedabad, and that was as a trainee. And after that, when I was picked up as a management trainee, I was offered to move to Bangalore. And I think that was one point in my life where life really switched, because I had never been out of my home before that. Not a hostel, no place like that. Absolutely at home, eating home food, being with family. That was my life. But this was very different on my own, and I think that really instilled a lot of confidence in me. And I really learned a lot in a small stint of just 5 to 6 months in Bangalore. And thereafter, I moved to Pune because the team here was setting up something called liability insurance. It was not something that was prevalent at that time in the insurance industry. And I found it fascinating, and I thought that it's something new for the future, and I wanted to try it out. So I picked it up, and since then I have been in Pune.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Like, getting out of your comfort zone is of prime importance, because this is something that I've experienced myself. I'm someone who's born and brought up in Pune. My entire education happened here, but I got an opportunity to go abroad for my master's, and I was in London studying for a year. Wow. And living by myself. And this happened after like 23 years of living at home. So suddenly living by yourself, like doing something as simple as laundry when you're back from college, cooking your own meals. Yes. In your case, when you were back from work, like, there's so many other errands to do that you never think of because you're living at your own house. So yeah, that does bring a lot of confidence in yourself that you can live by yourself, you can do certain things. Yes. And yeah, it teaches you a lot, like living by yourself, living without family. I feel even brings you closer to them, in a way where you only realize the value of something when it's lost, kind of a situation.
And more importantly, I feel like, your individual persona, while all of that is there, when you're with family and you're very close to them, you tend to imbibe and see the world the way, they show you. But when you're on your own, you are open to all kind of opportunities and people around you. And when you're uninhibited, I think that just opens up lots and lots of opportunities for you as well. It's very important, though it came in pretty late in my life, but I think it has been a game changer for me.
Oh, like as they say, "Der hai durust hai," but yeah, definitely, it's an experience that shapes you for the remainder of your life. Absolutely. And ma'am, there's another interesting term you used in your earlier answer, something called management trainee. So some of our viewers would like to know what a management trainee is.
So management training is a amazing platform, I would say, for the young graduates, from the schools who are picked up, and they're given a opportunity to kind of build themselves up in Bajaj. I would put it that way, because when I was a management trainee, I was allowed to explore various insurance functions like claims, underwriting, sales, retail sales, corporate sales, all of that. And eventually I would be, it was expected that I would be put up in a specific geography, in a specific department, and I would build up my career through that. Though for me it was liability because it was something new that came up. And again I felt that those opportunities, those new opportunities were first opened up to management trainees. Like if you want to take it, then you take it first, because that's how the company views youngsters and their contribution. Because I feel that when somebody is new and you want to create something new, it's a good match, because there's no legacy, no history. The person comes up with absolutely brand new ideas and a lot of vigor. So it helps both the company as well as the individuals. And my experience as a management trainee has been amazing, because I also worked with some of the great mentors in the company. And yeah, all of that has a role in shaping up my career and where I am today.
Yes, absolutely. Like a fresh perspective, a fresh energy is something that every team needs, and with the right mentorship, it can actually create something that will last a lifetime, not just from a personal perspective, but a professional one as well,
Absolutely.
and for the human being as well as the company as well. And now that you've completed almost 18 to 19 years in insurance, you've switched from so many profiles, like from sales, then you also went to banca, we heard, and now you're in liability insurance. So, what does liability insurance entail?
So, good question. And I have been asked this question for the last 19 years. Like, what is liability insurance? Maybe people in the insurance fraternity still understand it to some level. But at home, again, I would say that people just marginally understand what I do. So, liability insurance is typically, areas of risk which are around management exposures or professional exposures. Like, for example, director or officer of a company, when he's making various decisions on behalf of the company, there is so much at stake, right? Like you have your shareholders uh, against whom you could be liable in case something goes wrong, or your employees or various other stakeholders. So those are management liabilities, and that's those kind of liabilities like management. And similarly professional liabilities, where you could be a doctor, you could be an engineer, and you could be doing various kind of consulting activities, and something may go wrong and you might be sued for it. So typically these are third party liabilities which are getting covered. So this insurance protects individuals as well as organizations for anything that comes up from people other than your own setup and enterprise, right? And obviously it's not very well understood in India yet. However, it's a big chunk of exposure for corporates. So on the corporate side, you see that this is something which is an integral part of insurance portfolio today. And in my journey from 2006 to now, I can say that from zero it has already become like a 500 plus crore portfolio for us. So it has grown massively. And the nuance of this line is that what I saw as an exposure 10 years ago versus what I see today, it has drastically changed, right? Because it is dependent on one, the inherent risk, like, what is happening within a particular industry. For example, e-commerce entity. This was not existing few years ago. So today it comes with its own set of exposures, right? For its clients, for its shareholders, etc. So the products that we offer under liability has also evolved over a period of time. And another thing which has added a lot to this line is technology, because now technology is at the core of every business. And if you look at technology related exposures, they have also amplified a lot. Like you talk about cyber insurance today, it's everybody's talking about a cyber attack, or even individuals losing money due to cyber and use of technology. So those kind of exposures are picked up in something called liability insurance. So it has evolved over a period of time, and from here also you can only expect that it will evolve further.
Yes, as the world develops and there's technological and even other kinds of advancements day by day, the risk with it also increases. And a very simple example that you mentioned was doctors and engineers, where someone they consult to might have a chain effect. So there could be some liability, some risk that they are possessing while doing their job, which is their part and parcel of life. So this is a very interesting line of business actually, and it seems very integral and very important for the functioning of processes and things.
Yes.
In like in a smooth
For
and efficient
organization.
manner.
So if I just give you some examples, like suddenly in India again, it's not very well known, but you have something called class action lawsuits, where shareholders can come together and file a suit against the company's directors and officers for any mismanagement. And when you look at those kind of cases, it puts the company in huge stress. And you could look at settlements which could be like 10 million to $100 million. right? So these kind of funds no company has at its own, at their end. So you need to transfer that risk, and that is what liability insurance picks up. So it's like a very high severity loss line, though you will not see too many frequency around it. Yeah.
So, handling such an integral and, high thrilling, so, for the lack of a better word, line of business, how do you manage to, stay calm? Because you seem like a very nice and calm personality. So, how do you like manage to maintain that balance or the work-life balance, as people say?
And you're not the first one to tell me this, but I'm sure, again, you will not believe that when I started my career, I used to be far more aggressive, and I used to come across as a very aggressive person. And I remember a time when, some of the leaders used to call up my then boss and say that, these guys are very abrupt, and they're like, they say no all the time, and they don't listen to us. And we used to fight on emails and, on phone calls. But I think with time you become more mature. So one is your personal maturity that you gain with time, because you realize that it's not about fighting or that argument. It's all about getting your point in the right fashion to the other side, and I think that takes care of it. So you learn that. Second is on the professional side, because when you start off, and particularly you will see underwriters, like when you start off you feel that you have so much power, and like you are taking all the decision, so there's nobody who can question you. But since I have had various roles, like I have been in sales, I have done retail sales also, I know that the life on the other side is not easy, right? So when you see that, when you do it yourself, I think it brings in a lot of balance in which in how you look at the world, look at the people around, and also why they are saying certain things to you. So I have had various scenarios now where people might be screaming at me, but by the end of the conversation, we are at a amicable position, because I don't get triggered anymore.
I think that is something that comes with experience and age, and plus, since you've worked in one organization for so long, you get to know more about the people you're working with. You kind of understand their perspective as well, and it's all about sharing both perspectives and then coming to a common conclusion. Because ultimately, your end goal as an organization and as a team is the same.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's the core to it. That nobody is, it's not personal, right? It's just part of my work, and it's the part of your work, right? So I think when you get to that level, and that, I think it's a bit of maturity that comes to play, and it happens with time.
Yeah. And so, in your line of this liability work, are you able to separate your personal life at home and your work life, or is it a hassle because you're there's so many people working under you as well?
Right. So again, it has been a journey only, Hiren. I remember a time when I was so obsessed with work. Even now, I have great passion to what I do. But at some point, I was also obsessed with what I was doing. And I remember a time when my son Ayush, he was just 4 months old, and there was some leadership program going on, and I didn't want to miss it. So I took my 4-month-old child to the hotel, and I got my husband, Akhil, and my mother to stay at the same hotel, because I wanted to do it at any cost. So that was the obsession that I used to have. Obviously, when you look back, you feel that, was it really required? Maybe not. But at that moment, that's how it used to be. But I think, again, with time and with a lot of support that I got from my family, from my people around, I also have house helps who help me with all the work at home. With all of that put together, today I'm at a space where more or less it is balanced. Because when I'm at work, I really don't have to worry about what's happening at home. And when I'm home, I'm more or less, satisfied with what has happened at work, because obviously you have also grown with your work, and you're more confident now, and you know what's going on, and you trust your team, you delegate more, and all of that. So I think gradually there is some balance. Of course, you will always have a situation where you have to pick one over the other, but I think it's 50-50. I prioritize it, what is relevant at that point in time, and I go ahead that way. And as far as team is concerned, Hiren, I'm somebody who strongly believes that, the team should decide. For example, somebody prioritizes a time of the year for anything special at home, I am totally okay with that. I feel that everybody is entitled to their space, their time, and their life. In fact, I would always encourage, like, please do things beyond work because that's necessary in today's world. Work will happen, and you give your best when you're at work, and beyond that, you should have a life of your own. So I feel that balance is essential.
Yeah, that's fair. And something else also that we've learned about you is that you really and also encourage people to step outdoors and sort of experience that life where not in a professional sense, but as in getting in touch with your own roots, as in having some me time, but without staying at home, without looking into a screen.
Absolutely, absolutely. And very important, Hiren, like, very early in my career, like I had bosses who would always take me along for meetings, and I used to go meet clients, brokers. And again, that became a core part of who I am. And today also, if I look at my own self, my life and the way I am when I'm in office versus when I'm in the market is very different. So when you're in the market, you're in the sun, you're meeting people, like, you're more active. And the fact that you're physically active also mentally charges you up. And I tell my team the same thing. And fortunately for me, we are a team which is techno marketing or techno sales. So they have to step out. So most of them are actually out in the market, and they are very close to the market also. So because when you go and meet partners, you understand what actual business is. And that only makes you a better underwriter later. So I think, again, fortunately for me, the team is also structured that way. But it's very important. And my message to anybody would be that even if it is a work profile which keeps you indoors most of the time, but do look for opportunities where you can go out, meet your partners, meet your customers. It not just gives you that little bit of different kind of work, but it also opens you up in many ways. And one core skill that I have picked up over the years is listening, because when you listen to people, when you listen to partners, and you try to understand, probably it helps you deliver better once you come back as well. So very important.
That's true. And like, yeah, stepping out is like, for how long can someone stay in those four same within those four same walls, and how much can you grow within those four walls is not even comparable to how much you can grow once you step out and you meet people, you network people.
Right.
So that's absolutely true. And so at Cabin Chronicles, we have this tradition that senior leaders like you give people like me advice. And like not just me, but people my age, like 24, 25-year-olds who are just finishing their education, stepping into a career, or who already have jobs. So today's theme is something I've picked myself, is to how to keep your work exciting. What would you say about that? What advice would you give to someone who's sort of not feeling great at his or her job? So how do they keep their their current roles more exciting? How do they make sure that they like coming to work?
Good question, very relevant and not easy to answer. But I feel a lot of it starts from talking, like, opening up. So if you're at a place, at a role, and you are not fully, engaged with it, it starts with talking. Like, you talk to your supervisor, you talk to your peers, and you try and understand. Like, maybe it's something that can be managed through a little bit of adjustment in your role. Right, so that is one. Apart from that, from a broader level, I feel that life today has changed vis-a-vis where we used to come from. Like when I joined work, I didn't have an option to not like something. I had to like, because I had to earn, and I had to be kind of a breadwinner for my family. So I didn't have that option. I think today a key reason is that people have options. That also makes you feel dissented with so many things. So I think it's like it's a catch-22 kind of a thing. But I feel, first of all, you should have gratitude to what you have in life. Okay, when you start with that, I think a lot of it is already taken care of. Because you can't start your day with grudge, with telling that, this is not good, that is not good. But what is right? Focus on the right things and start building up from there. And talking. And because when you start focusing on the right things, automatically you see a small window opening up, or some door opening up somewhere. And then that will take you to the next step and the next step and so on. And over a period of time, you will feel that you are kind of, you've got there. And I have seen in my career, for example, like the initial phase of my career was very fast. I was doing so many things. I was representing the company across the globe. I was there on the stage, explaining liability insurance to everyone. And I grew very fast. And then there was a phase where things were not happening so fast. Not that it was good or bad, but I was not used to it. And then suddenly you start feeling because the fact of like you start self doubting yourself, or you think the things around you are not good. But when I look back, uh, no such situation is bad, because when you are in a down phase, for example, or slightly down phase, you just need to keep doing what you believe in. If you believe in something, you continue, you be there, you persist, and over a period of time you feel that you will get to know that this phase has been the most critical phase for you, because it helps you learn so many things. But when you're down and when people criticize you, or not people are not praising you all the time, that's when you have a lot of time to introspect, focus on your hardcore key skills, build new things, and then you set yourself up for an amazing kind of success. And I have seen that happening for myself. So I feel, and for certain people it might be the initial phase of their career, but that's okay. That's okay. You keep on doing, you keep on experimenting, and you will get there. I think it's that that resilience aspect that we talk about. You be there, you persist, you will succeed. Having said that, there are so many options available today. I don't think anybody has to feel sad about or not happy about where you are. Even you look at Bajic, we have so many options. Pick up something that you like, that you want to do, and go ahead.
Yeah, that's a great piece of advice. Like, first of all, just pushing through and just doing what is sort of expected of you, what you want to do, trying to experiment within that realm. That what's something new I can do within this. And like obviously the second part is that if that doesn't work, then the second option is to explore around you. And today, like because of the internet, I think there's no limit to opportunities. You can get the role that you want, or at least something in that realm.
Yeah, even in Bajic, see, I feel, Hiren, a lot of people are unaware of what we are doing as an organization. So if you look at an insurance field itself, like past was about all the traditional products, traditional processes, and that kind of business. Today we are talking about tech-enabled businesses. We have a lot of insurtechs with whom we are partnering. We have got advanced analytics at play, which helps you make your business stronger, and so on, and so many other things. And all of this is actually opportunity. So if you look at the youth today, if you are inclined towards technology, there's amazing things happening there. Please join them. Or even within our own normal businesses, the main theme today is transformation. We are getting into newer technologies, not like technologies, it's like you have to understand business and then use this technology to make it sharper for the future, or better for the future. So there again, you need a lot of youngsters, a lot of people who can help us build this. Because if you ask me, I may not know it. This is not what I have learned in college, right? I'm only acquiring skills right now. But somebody who's good at that can really contribute.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so there are so many options, and as I said, the first thing is more important. You voice it out. If you feel something, just say, and talk to the right people, and I'm sure there are a lot of opportunities available. And insurance is a sunrise industry here, and I don't know whether people believe or not, but I strongly believe in it. The next 50 years belong to insurance companies and people who are associated. Of course, the change in the form, the products will change, the process will change, but there will be a lot of progress that you will see here, and people, whoever are part of this industry, are bound to grow.
Yes, that's fair. That's fair. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us such insight into not just the insurance world, but your world as well. And thank you so much for being on our show. And we hope that your episode inspires, especially women, if not everyone who views it.
No, of course, it will inspire everyone. I'm sure.
Thank you, ma'am, for being on Craven Chronicles and sharing your journey with our viewers. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am, and goodbye.